What does it mean when heaven speaks to you twice? Not because the first message was unclear, but because the time to respond has arrived. When the same call echoes through the noise of your days, disrupting your routine, piercing through distraction, it is no accident. You are being interrupted because you are loved, named, and known. The second voice from heaven is not louder, it is closer. And if these words have found you today, on October 31st, 2025, then something essential is asking for your attention. Not someday, now. Divine repetition is the language of urgency wrapped in mercy. When heaven repeats itself, it is not because the message changed, it is because the moment has. The first call sounded like opportunity. The second sounds like instruction. Time in the spiritual realm moves differently than time on a calendar. What felt like patience may now feel like precision. Every hesitation you carried has been transformed into grace. Every doubt you entertained has been absorbed into abundance. The invitation has become an order, not through force, but through love that refuses to let you drift. If you remember the first call, you know this one carries a different weight. Scripture gives us mirrors for this moment. Jonah was summoned twice, and only in the second call did his destiny emerge. Noah heard repetition for years before the ark saved the multitude. Peter was restored by the insistence of Jesus, who offered redemption equal in tone to the denials. In every sacred story, God repeats not for the pleasure of speaking, but because each repetition is grace extended, redemption multiplied, and invitation deepened so that no one is lost in the static of the everyday. Repetition is not redundancy, it is rescue. If these words are landing inside you with a quiet recognition, there is a clear way to move forward without getting scattered. Prosperity revealed in 3 dimensions is a simple and profound path designed to help you bring order to the noise, return to your center, and act with clarity and purpose. It guides you toward practical and spiritual prosperity, abundance that aligns with who you truly are, and wealth that carries meaning. You can explore it in reading or in listening, whichever fits your rhythm right now. Everything is available in the pinned comment and in the description. Take the time that feels right. And now, let us return to the heart of this exploration, to the call that will not stop until it is answered. The warning is clear. Do not trust tomorrow as if it were promised. Do not underestimate the gravity of the call simply because it sounds familiar. Heaven repeats because there are dreams waiting to be resurrected, paths waiting to be rebuilt, and opportunities that will not circle back. The chosen do not lose their value when they stumble. They can fail, they can hesitate, but they are not forgotten. The echo from above is always a final call before the season shifts, because divine love is eternal, but the time assigned to each mission is brief. This is not about fear. This is about alignment. What happens when you ignore a repeated message? The first time it feels like forgetfulness. The second time it feels like resistance. By the third time, the door may still be open, but the cost of walking through it has changed. Not because heaven withdraws its offer, but because delay creates distance. You are standing at a threshold that demands an answer. Your response today will not only define your story, it will activate cycles in the lives of others. The call of heaven is generational. Each yes you speak does not only shift your trajectory, it releases something dormant in the people connected to you, seen and unseen. The weight you feel is not burden. It is responsibility dressed in purpose. Think about the people in your life who are waiting for your obedience without even knowing it. Your children, your friends, the stranger you will meet 5 years from now, the person scrolling past this video who will be touched by the ripple you create today. Heaven does not call you for your sake alone. You are a hinge point. What moves through you moves beyond you. Every promise has a season, and every chance to obey is a seed planted in future soil. The clock is not ticking against you. It is ticking for you. If today feels urgent, it is because the moment to act has quietly arrived. But let us not romanticize urgency into panic. The repetition of heaven is firm, yes, but it is also tender. If you can still hear the voice, then it is not too late. Sensitivity is the greatest sign of calling. The fact that your spirit stirs when you read these words, the fact that something in you pauses and listens, means you have not moved beyond reach. Many lose their way not because they were abandoned, but because they made the voice of God routine. Familiarity can be more dangerous than doubt. When the sacred becomes background noise, we stop responding. But you are here. You are reading this. You are feeling something shift. That is proof that the door is still open. If this resonates with you, consider subscribing so you do not miss the next step in this journey. Your presence here matters more than you know. Now let us look at what repetition reveals. When the same instruction returns, it exposes what we avoided the first time. Maybe you hesitated because you were not ready. Maybe you were afraid of what obedience would cost. Maybe you told yourself that the call was for someone else, someone more prepared, more worthy, more capable. But the second call removes every excuse. It names you again, strips away the noise, and asks one question: will you move? Not perfectly, not with all the answers, just move. That is what heaven is waiting for. Not your competence, your yes, and here is the mystery. Errors, delays, and losses do not erase your assignment. They intensify the mercy available to you. The chosen are not chosen because they are flawless. They are chosen because they are willing. Every detour you took taught you something the straight path could not. Every failure carved out space for humility. Every moment of waiting prepared you to carry what is coming. Your history is not a disqualification. It is a credential. You are not starting over. You are starting again. And this time, you carry wisdom that only struggle can forge. What does the path forward look like? It begins with a single motion. A prayer, a conversation, a boundary, a choice to stop waiting for conditions to be perfect before you obey. The moment you move, heaven moves with you, not before, with. Faith is not believing that God will act. Faith is acting because God has already spoken. The repetition is the proof. He spoke once and you heard. He spoke again and you are still here. The third motion is yours. Leave a comment below and tell us what part of this message landed deepest in your spirit. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Let us be honest about what is at stake. This is not about missing a blessing, although that is real. This is about missing the version of yourself that obedience unlocks. Every time heaven calls and you delay, a future you remains dormant. Not punished, not condemned, just waiting, unrealized. The repetition is an invitation to wake that version up, to step into the skin of who you were designed to become. And that version of you is not somewhere far away. It is one decision close, one yes away. One act of courage from manifesting. Research in behavioral psychology suggests that the gap between intention and action is often bridged not by more information, but by a single committed step. We wait for clarity, but clarity comes through motion, not before it. The fog does not lift, so you can see the path. You walk, and the fog lifts as you move. Heaven operates the same way. The instruction is given, but the details are revealed in obedience. You do not need to see the whole staircase. You need to take the first step. And the second call is the reminder that the staircase is still there, that the door has not closed, that the opportunity is live. What would change in your life if you treated this moment as the turning point it actually is? Not hypothetically, not symbolically, actually. If you woke up tomorrow and moved as though heaven had spoken your name twice, what would you do differently? Who would you call? What would you stop tolerating? What dream would you dust off and breathe life into again? The answer to that question is your assignment. And the fact that you can answer it means you already know what is required. The only question left is whether you will honor what you know. Turn on notifications so you do not miss what comes next. These messages are designed to build on each other, and the next one might be the key that unlocks everything. Let us name some of the signs that the second call has arrived. You feel restless in places that used to comfort you. Conversations that once satisfied now feel hollow. The routines that gave you structure now feel like cages. You sense that something is ending, but you cannot name what is beginning. You wake in the middle of the night with thoughts you cannot trace back to any source. You feel both exhausted and expectant, as though you are standing between two worlds. These are not symptoms of crisis. They are symptoms of transition. Heaven is making space for something new, and the old is being cleared away, sometimes gently, sometimes not. Another sign, you keep encountering the same themes. A phrase, a scripture, a feeling. It shows up in a conversation, then in a song, then in a moment of silence. You try to dismiss it as coincidence, but it keeps circling back. That is not randomness. That is orchestration. Heaven speaks in patterns when linear words are not enough. If the same thread keeps weaving through your days, pull on it. Follow it. It leads somewhere essential. Repetition in the external world often mirrors repetition in the spiritual. The message outside is confirming the message inside. A third sign, people around you are shifting. Relationships that seemed permanent are ending. New faces are appearing without explanation. Doors you thought were open are closing, and doors you never noticed are swinging wide. This can feel disorienting, even painful. But what if it is not loss? What if it is alignment? Heaven rearranges your relational landscape when your assignment changes. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into the next chapter, and not everyone who belongs in that chapter has arrived yet. Trust the movement. Trust the disruption. It is not chaos. It is preparation. Share this video with someone who has been waiting for a sign. Sometimes we are the answer to someone else's prayer without even knowing it. Now let us explore the causes beneath the repetition. Why does heaven speak twice? Because the first time we heard with our minds. The second time we are meant to hear with our will. Intellectual agreement is not the same as embodied obedience. You can believe something is true and still not act on it. You can feel inspired and still not move. The gap between knowing and doing is where most callings die. Not from rejection, but from delay. Heaven repeats to close that gap, to move the message from your head to your hands, from your heart to your feet. Another reason for repetition. The spiritual climate has shifted. What was optional in the first season is mandatory in the second. The window of time in which casual obedience was enough has passed. The stakes are higher now, not because heaven is harsher, but because the harvest is ready. There are souls waiting, futures hanging in the balance, assignments that cannot proceed until you step into place. The urgency is not manufactured, it is real. The mission has matured, and so the call intensifies. This is not pressure. This is precision. There is also this: you are stronger now than you were the first time. Heaven waited because you were not ready, but the delay was not wasted. You were being prepared, even when it felt like you were being forgotten. Every trial you endured, every disappointment you survived, every moment you thought you could not go on but did, all of it was training. You are more equipped now than you were before. The second call comes not because you failed the first, but because you have finally been shaped into someone who can carry what the call requires. The repetition is a compliment. It means you are ready. Let us also consider the role of mercy. Heaven repeats because it refuses to lose you. It would be easier, in some strange cosmic sense, for the call to move on, for the assignment to go to someone else, for the door to simply close. But that is not how divine love operates. It pursues, it insists, it returns. The repetition is proof that you are not disposable, not replaceable, not forgotten. You are wanted specifically by name, and heaven will keep calling until the noise clears and you finally hear not just the words, but the love beneath them. If this brought clarity to something you have been wrestling with, leave a like. It helps others who need this message find it. What does the path of awakening look like from here? It begins with stillness. Before you move externally, you must move internally. Close your eyes for a moment after this video ends. Place one hand on your chest. Breathe in slowly through your nose, letting the air descend all the way into your belly. Hold it gently for a count of 3. Then exhale through your mouth. releasing not just air, but tension, doubt, and delay. Do this 3 times, and then, in the silence that follows, ask one simple question. What is mine to do right now? Not tomorrow, not next month. Right now. Listen without forcing an answer. The answer will come, maybe as a word, maybe as an image, maybe as a knowing. Trust what rises. The second practice, write one sentence, just one, on a piece of paper, on your phone, anywhere you will see it tomorrow morning. Write this: I'm no longer waiting for permission. Read it when you wake. Let it be the first thought that shapes your day. Permission is what we wait for when we do not trust our calling. But you do not need permission. You need obedience. And obedience does not ask for approval. It simply moves. The third practice, act small but act soon. Do not try to transform your entire life by sunset. Pick one thing, the smallest next step, and do it within 24 hours. Send the message, make the call, start the journal, delete the app, set the boundary, open the book. Whatever it is, let it be concrete. Let it be measurable. Let it be proof that you heard the call and you responded. Heaven does not need grand gestures. It needs faithful motion. And one small step taken in faith unlocks the next 10 steps you could not see from where you were standing. Turn to someone in your life, someone you trust, and say this out loud. I heard something today that I cannot ignore anymore. You do not have to explain the whole thing. You do not have to have it all figured out. Just name it. Bring it into the light. There is power in articulation. What remains internal remains theoretical. What you speak becomes real. And when you speak it to another person, you create accountability. You invite witness. You make it harder to retreat. This is not about performance. This is about anchoring your decision in community so that when doubt returns, and it will, you are not alone. Here is another element of the path. Release what does not belong in the next season. Not dramatically, not with resentment, but clearly. Some habits, some relationships, some commitments were useful once, but are now weights. The second call often comes with an assignment to let go. You cannot carry everything forward. Some things must be left behind, so your hands are free for what is coming. This does not mean you failed. It means you are being refined. Ask yourself, what am I holding that I no longer need? What am I carrying out of guilt, not calling? Give yourself permission to set it down. The path forward is lighter than you think, but only if you stop dragging the past with you. Drop a comment and let us know, what is one thing you are ready to release so you can move forward? Sometimes naming it is the first step to freedom. Let us talk about what happens after you say yes. The path will not be comfortable. Obedience is not the same as ease. In fact, the moment you align with your calling, resistance will rise. Not because you are doing something wrong, but because you are doing something right. Resistance is the shadow of significance. If what you are doing did not matter, nothing would oppose it. But it does matter, and so the obstacles will come. Expect them. Do not interpret them as signs that you made a mistake. Interpret them as signs that you are on the right path. The friction is not punishment. It is confirmation. You will also feel exposed. When you step into obedience, you step into visibility. People will notice. Some will celebrate. Some will criticize. Some will simply be confused. You will be tempted to retreat, to go back to the version of yourself that kept everyone comfortable. Do not. Your calling is not a democracy. It is not up for vote. It is between you and heaven. Let the opinions of others be background noise. Keep your eyes on the assignment. Keep your ears tuned to the voice that called you. Everything else is distraction, and here is the gift hidden in the difficulty: clarity. Once you say yes, the fog lifts, not all at once, but steadily. You will begin to see connections you missed before. Doors will open that you did not know existed. People will show up with exactly what you need at exactly the right time. Resources will appear. Ideas will crystallize. This is not magic. This is alignment. When you move in the direction of your calling, the universe and heaven conspire to support you. Not to make it easy, but to make it possible. And possible is enough. Subscribe so you can follow this path with us. There is more to come, and you will not want to miss the next layer. let us return to the idea of the chosen. What does it mean to be chosen? It does not mean you are better. It means you are assigned. It does not mean you have all the answers. It means you have a specific question to explore on behalf of others. The chosen are not the perfect. They are the willing. They are the ones who heard the call and, despite fear, despite doubt, despite every reason to turn away, said yes. You are chosen not because of your strength, but because of your availability. And availability is a choice you make every single day. Being chosen also means being tested, not to harm you, but to prepare you. The trials you face are not random. They are targeted. They are designed to develop in you the exact qualities you will need for the assignment ahead. Patience, resilience, discernment, courage, compassion. Every hardship is a classroom. Every delay is a lesson. And if you are paying attention, you are learning exactly what you need to know. The second call comes when the training is complete. You may not feel ready, but readiness is not a feeling. It is a fact. And the fact that heaven is calling again is proof that you are ready, whether you believe it or not. There is also this. Being chosen means being set apart, not in an elitist way, but in a functional way. You will not fit everywhere anymore. You will not be comfortable in every space. Some rooms will feel too small. Some conversations will feel too shallow. This is not arrogance. This is evolution. You are being called upward and inward, and the places that once held you can no longer contain who you are becoming. Let them go. Trust the discomfort. It is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is shifting. What if the message you are hearing today is not new but remembered? What if the second call from heaven is not introducing you to something foreign, but reintroducing you to something ancient? What if the assignment you are being given is the same one written into your spirit before you were born, and everything up until now has been preparation for this moment of recognition? The path forward is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming more fully yourself, the truest, most aligned, most awake version of you. And that version has been waiting for this exact moment to emerge. Here is a truth that neuroscience has begun to confirm. The brain rewires itself based on focused attention and repeated action. What you give your attention to, you become. What you practice, you embody. This is not metaphor, this is biology. When you align your daily actions with your deepest calling, you are not just changing your circumstances, you are changing your neural architecture. You are literally becoming a different person. The second call is an invitation to lock in that transformation, to make it irreversible, to step so fully into the new identity that the old one can no longer reclaim you. This is the path of awakening, and it is available right now. If this video shifted something in you, share it. Someone in your circle is waiting to hear exactly this, and you might be the bridge. Let us close with a reflection. October 31st, 2025 is not just a date. It is a marker. A moment in time when heaven leaned in close and spoke your name again. Not because the first time failed, but because the second time is definitive. This is the hinge. This is the turning point. Everything before this moment was preparation. Everything after this moment is activation. You are standing on the edge of a new chapter, and the only thing required to step into it is the willingness to move. Not perfectly, not with all the answers. Just move. What will you carry into tomorrow? What will you leave behind? What small, faithful step will you take within the next 24 hours to prove that you heard the call and you are responding? These are not rhetorical questions. They are invitations. Answer them. Write them down. Speak them out loud. Let them become real. Let this moment matter. Heaven repeats because it refuses to let you go. It repeats because you are loved beyond measure. It repeats because your assignment is not optional, it is essential. And it repeats because the time to respond is now. Not someday, now. You have been chosen. You have been called. You have been equipped. The only question left is this: will you answer? The second call is here. and it is waiting for your yes. The voice you hear when you close your eyes and stop defending yourself, that is the voice of the second call. It does not shout, it does not force, but it does not fade either. It waits with the patience of eternity and the precision of a season that knows its end. You have been circling something essential, and this moment, this October 31st, is the moment the circle closes and the door opens. Not because time ran out, but because preparation is complete. Think of a seed buried in soil. It does not struggle. It does not question. It simply responds to the conditions around it. Warmth, water, pressure. And when the moment is right, it breaks open. That breaking is not destruction. It is becoming. You are that seed. The second call is the signal that the conditions have aligned. The soil of your life has been prepared. The breaking open is not something to fear. It is something to trust. And what emerges will not resemble what was buried. It will be alive, reaching, rooted, and entirely new. Consider the rhythm of breath. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. The pause is not emptiness. It is transition. It is the space where one state ends and another begins. You are in the pause right now. The inhale was your past. The exhale is your future. And this moment, this sacred pause, is where you choose which direction the breath will go. Will you hold it and resist? Or will you release it and allow the new to enter? The second call is the inhale of heaven. Your obedience is the exhale of faith. Together, they create the rhythm that sustains life. What would it mean to live as though you believed the call was real? Not theoretically, not someday. Today, it would mean waking with intention, moving with purpose, speaking with care, resting without guilt. It would mean treating every conversation as sacred, every choice as consequential, every moment as a thread in the larger tapestry of your calling. You would stop apologizing for taking up space. You would stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to be who you already are. You would stop performing for an audience that does not define you. You would simply be fully, unapologetically aligned. And here is what many miss. Alignment does not require perfection. It requires honesty. You do not have to have it all figured out. You just have to stop pretending you do. You do not have to be fearless. You just have to move despite the fear. You do not have to see the entire path. You just have to trust the next step. Alignment is not a destination. It is a practice. And the second call is the invitation to begin that practice now, not when you feel ready, but because the call itself is what makes you ready. There is a story told in many traditions of the traveler who asks the guide, "How will I know when I have arrived?" And the guide responds, "You will stop asking." The second call removes the question. It removes the ambiguity. It removes the luxury of maybe. You are here. The moment is now. The answer is yes. Everything else is noise. And noise, no matter how loud, cannot drown out a voice that speaks directly to your spirit. Let go of the need to understand everything before you act. Understanding follows obedience. Clarity follows motion. Peace follows surrender. You have been taught to think your way into action, but the spiritual path operates differently. You act your way into clarity. You move your way into understanding. You obey your way into peace. The second call is not asking for your analysis. It is asking for your feet, your hands, your voice, your presence. Bring those, and everything else will be given. What happens when you finally stop resisting? The energy you were using to hold the door closed becomes available for something else. Creativity, connection, contribution, rest, joy. Resistance is exhausting. It drains you in ways you do not even notice until it stops. And when it stops, when you finally say yes and mean it, you will feel lighter. Not because the load decreased, but because you are no longer carrying it alone. Heaven moves with you the moment you move. Not before, with. That is the promise. That is the covenant. And it has never been broken. If you are still reading, still listening, still here, then something in you knows this is true. You may not be able to name it yet. You may not be able to explain it to anyone else, but you know. And that knowing is enough. It is the seed. It is the spark. It is the beginning of everything that comes next. Do not dismiss it. Do not rationalize it away. Honor it, protect it, let it grow. Because that quiet knowing is the voice of the second call, and it will not return a third time in the same way. This is the moment. You are the person. The assignment is clear. All that remains is your response. So here is the final invitation, the one that carries no pressure but all the weight of eternity. Say yes. Out loud if you can, in your heart if you must, but say it. Let the word move from your mind to your mouth, from your spirit to your body. Let it become real. Let it become action. Let it become the first step of a journey that has been waiting for you since before you were born. Say yes and watch what heaven does with that single word. Say yes and discover that you were never alone, never forgotten, never abandoned. Say yes and become the person you were always meant to be. The second call is here, and it is waiting for you.